Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Chancelyn and I'm here to share faith-based content with you. For the full month of December, I'll be sharing different testimonies of God's goodness and faithfulness throughout my life. So if you haven't already, go ahead and hit the button below so you can subscribe to this channel and be notified when I post future content. And if you're already subscribed, welcome back. Let's get into today's testimony. Today's testimony will be a little different. So the other testimonies that I've shared so far have been really happy and positive, and I've shared about how God has blessed us and kept us and given me favor and healed my body and all those fun things, right? But today's testimony will be about how God is close to us even in grief, even while we're grieving. So back in 2020, November of 2020, my dad's father passed, and I referred to him as Big Dad. So earlier that year, my big dad had a stroke, and prior to that stroke, his health was really good as far as we knew. But he had a stroke, and after he had that stroke, his health just declined drastically. He wasn't really able to walk on his own. He wasn't really able to talk much. He wasn't really able to feed himself, and he wasn't really able to do much. And just from there, his health declined, and then he passed in November. And as I saw his health declining, I was praying, and I was asking God for healing. I was just praying and trying to let Holy Spirit lead me even in the prayers. And I feel maybe around September, October time frame, God just gave me a peace about it. And I felt that it was his time to go, like his time was coming soon. And God just gave me peace. And so I kept praying, prayed for my family, and just prayed that, he was saved. So when it was his time, he would just be with God. He passed in that November, and it was very hard, just having my granddad all of my life, I guess up until that point. He was just an amazing man. He taught me so much just about how to carry myself as a young lady, what to expect out of men, just different things like that. He was definitely instrumental in my life, and I'll never forget my big dad. But God gave me peace about it, and I knew that he was saved. I knew that he knew God, and I just knew that he was going to be at peace with the Lord. And so fast forward a few months, and it's March. And my mom, which is my dad's mom, her health had been declining, and she had been sick for years and years and years, but she was a fighter, and she just was always, she'd always bounce back. But we could see after my big dad passed that her health was declining. She was getting weaker, and it seemed like her fight was dying. But we were still praying, and we were still believing God would heal her, God would heal her, God would heal her. And so in March of 2021, my mom went to be with the Lord. And when I tell you, I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all. I was praying for her healing. I was like, God, heal her, extend her days. I want her to see my kids. I want her to see me get married. I want her to see this. I want her to see that. I was like, Lord, extend her days, heal her body, heal her body. So when she passed, that hit really hard for me. And in that time, I just drew closer to God, and I wasn't mad at God, but I just wanted to understand. I was like, God, I know you're a healer. You say it in your word. You've healed me. Why didn't you heal her? I know you could heal her, right? Why didn't you heal her? And I just had that question for God, and I wasn't mad. I just wanted to understand, because I knew that he heard my prayers. I knew that he heard the prayers of my family. And so I wasn't clear on it. So I just kept praying, and I asked God, I was like, God, I want to understand. I need to understand, help me understand. And God told me, he said it wasn't her will. That wasn't what she wanted. My mom had gotten to the point, God revealed this to me, that my mom had gotten to the point where she had missed my big dad so much. And her fight was gone, and she was ready to be at rest. She was ready to be at peace. She was ready to be with the Lord and reunited with her husband. After God gave me that peace about it, and after God revealed that to me, I was like, okay, God, I hear you, but I need a confirmation. And so I ended up getting prayer on the prayer line that I shared about in my last video. Was praying for me. She confirmed it, and she was like, God heard our prayers, but she was like, she was ready to go. And once God confirmed that, I was at peace, because I knew that she was ready to go, and she was tired of fighting, and she was tired of suffering, right? And one thing I will say, I won't lie and say like, oh, once God gave me that confirmation, that peace, like I didn't cry anymore, I didn't have any more sad moments. Like, no, that's not true at all, right? But even as the word tells us, like, God is close to the brokenhearted, right? And he saves those who are crushed in spirit. And so in those moments where I just only felt like crying, or I just felt sad, or I missed them, I would just draw closer to God. And in that time where I was crying, I would just spend that time in God's presence, just crying at his feet, right? I'd spend that time worshiping and crying. I'd spend that time rejoicing and thanking God that they knew him and that they were both saved, and so I know where they are. I spent that time just drawing closer to God, and he gave me so much peace concerning their passings. And it's hard not having them, but I know that they are at peace, and I know that they're no longer suffering, they're no longer sick, they're no longer in pain. And so I just have peace with that. And so I just wanted to share that testimony of how God will just even draw close to us when we're grieving, and he will just support us even through that. And God tells us, like, we can cast our cares on him, for he cares for us. And so if you are burdened with anything, if you are mourning, if you are grieving the loss of a loved one, whatever it is that you're carrying, whatever weight that you're carrying, lay it at the altar, give it to God, cast your cares on him, for he cares for you. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and hit the like button, and also subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. I can't wait until next time. Take care.